In a recent video by Dan McClellan, he poses a question on the passage of Psalm chapter 82. He says, is Jesus correct, or are current scholars correct about the Psalm 82? He then argues in this video that Jesus' view of Psalm chapter 82 is wrong and current scholarship is correct. So first I will go into where I agree with Dan and then where I disagree. For context, Jesus quotes Psalm 82 in John chapter 10 after he famously says, "I and the Father are one." The Jewish group around Jesus sought to kill him. However, Jesus objects with Psalm 82. Many have said that Psalm 82 is about human judges, and that's the way that Jesus understood it. That's what Dan is arguing in the video, that Jesus takes the view that Psalm 82 is about human judges. Many Christians agree with this view. They think, just like Dan, that Jesus is talking about human judges with Psalm chapter 82. And this is why he concludes in the video that Jesus is wrong, alongside other Christians as well. So first, I would like to say, Dan is correct that Psalm 82 is not about human judges. It's obviously about divine beings. Specifically, it calls them gods, or the Hebrew word is Elohim. The Bible states that there are other Elohim, but no other Elohim is like Yahweh Elohim. In this passage, we have Yahweh, the leader of this divine council meeting, and he is condemning these other gods. It literally says, "You are gods, but you will die like men." The end of Psalm 82 alludes to Deuteronomy 32, verses 8 and 9, where these divine beings, or sons of God, were appointed over the nations, and Yahweh here is judging these kinds of beings. This is why the psalm ends with saying, "Arise, O Yahweh, and take back the nations." So we are in agreement that Psalm 82 is about the divine council in heaven with Yahweh and lesser divine beings, or gods in this kind of way, how we translate the word. However, where we disagree is that Jesus is wrong. I don't think Jesus is arguing for the human point of view of Psalm 82 in John 10. I think Jesus believed in the divine being view, or the divine council view. I think this is because of how he responds to the objections and his initial claim and his last claim at the end of the chapter. As said, first Jesus begins with the I and the Father are one in John 10:30. So they went to kill him, stone him, what have you, and then he, him claiming this particular thing is something worthy of death to the Jews. So then Jesus quotes Psalm 82, you are gods. And I think what his point is this. Talking to the Jews obviously believed in these divine beings. And Jesus is saying, why can't I say that from your own scriptures, it tells you that there are other divine beings, there's other sons of God? Right here in Psalm 82, it tells us literally that there are divine beings. So Jesus is like asking rhetorically, why can't I say that of myself? And this is why I think Jesus concludes with verse 38. He says, "The Father is in me, and I am in the Father." So again, I think the point is not, I don't think Jesus is arguing for the human point of view. I don't think he's taking the human judge view. I think he's taking the divine council view. But the point here is that, he is divine. And I think the author of the Gospel of John is making that abundantly clear. Now, whether or not you think that these are the authentic words of Jesus, I think is a secondary point. And that's something to be brought up in a different kind of video. But the main point here is that if these really are the authentic words of Jesus recorded by the Gospel of John, then I don't think Jesus at all is arguing for the human point of view. I think he's arguing that these are divine beings, and he is also a divine being. And we know there are divine beings in the Scriptures. And this is literally how John 1:1 starts. So John 1:1, even if we take Dan's translation, because Dan doesn't think that John 1:1 is translated correctly, but let's take Dan's translation, where it says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was, instead of it being the Word was God, he translated it, and the Word was divine, or the Word was deity, because it lacks a definite article in the Greek text, which is perfectly fine. But the point here is that Jesus isn't a mere human. He's divine. And there's something different about Jesus. And this gets into a secondary point in John 3:16, where Jesus states, another famous passage, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Right? And here's what's interesting. The Greek word there is monogenes. And we translate it begotten, but like what it really means is unique. So Jesus is unique among the sons of God. And that's what we're kind of looking at here. Still supporting a Trinitarian view. But let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this.